Hi, I'm Holly from The Sweet Simple Things, and welcome to my channel where we make healthy and nourishing recipes the whole family will love. Make sure you hit subscribe to see all the latest recipes. Today we're going to make some roast beef and cheddar sliders on Hawaiian rolls with some horseradish sauce, and these are the perfect appetizer to make when you need something a little more filling at a party. So start by spraying your 9x13 pan with a little cooking spray. Then we're going to take 16 Hawaiian rolls in a slab like that and cut them apart through the middle there. So you're going to leave them all attached. You aren't going to pull all the rolls apart, but just carefully go through with a long knife and slice them in half. So you have a top slab and a bottom slab. Place the bottom half of the dinner rolls into the bottom of your 9x13 pan, and then we're going to get started with our cheese layer. I'm using sliced cheddar, and I'm just using those thin slices from the grocery store, but you can use whatever kind of cheese you like. Since this is kind of a beef and cheddar thing served with horseradish sauce, I recommend the cheddar, but there's no reason why you couldn't use some provolone or Swiss or whatever cheese you really want. You're going to end up using the full package of sliced cheese, but just use half of it for this first layer here. Next, we'll do our roast beef layer, and this is just a pound of sliced roast beef from the deli, and I kind of fold it up, as you can see here, into like a little square, and then I situate them so that these are actually one piece on top of each individual bun. And the reason I do that is because I've made sliders enough time that I've seen when you're trying to cut through the meat, sometimes the knife just pulls the meat out of the sandwich on one of the sides, and that's kind of annoying. So I do this to try to make it easier to cut so that each sandwich has its own meat and I don't have to try to cut through the meat, if that makes sense. However, you go ahead and you do you as you make these. You can lay the meat flat if you want and just cut through it. That's how most people do it, whatever you want to do. Now it's time for another layer of cheddar. So I'm using all the rest of that package of cheese that I didn't use before. So I'm just gonna layer this on top, and really I probably could have got more on that first layer because I end up having some extra pieces that I just kind of throw on the middle there. But anyway, get your cheese layered now on top of the roast beef. Finally, we'll put the top layer of the buns on top, and now we're going to make our butter mixture for the top of the rolls. So I'm going to melt 4 tablespoons of butter. A lot of recipes use a full stick, so this is one way I'm trying to cut down calories a little bit, as I'm just using half a stick, and I think it's plenty. Then some dried minced onion, poppy seeds, salt, and a little Worcestershire sauce. And then we're gonna add some Dijon mustard and then get this all whisked together. And then we're gonna spread this on top of our sandwiches before we bake them. So pour it evenly across the tops of all the rolls, and then use a spatula to spread it out and get it even. Like I said, I am cutting the butter in half from what a lot of recipes use because I just don't think it's necessary, but that does mean that since I'm using only half the amount of butter, you're gonna have to get in there with your spatula and really spread it out and make sure that each part gets coated, because there's just not as much extra as there might be otherwise if you were to make one with a full stick of butter. But again, this is plenty. 4 tablespoons ends up being about something like a teaspoon-ish per roll, which is a good amount to crisp up the top, but not make this overly calorie dense, more so than it needs to be. So you would cover this pan in foil and bake it at 350 for about 15 minutes, then remove the foil, and then do about another 10 to 15 minutes to get the tops crisped up, and cook it until that cheese is melted to your liking. I like to get these out onto a cutting board. Be kind of careful when you do this, but I like to slice them up so that they're easy for people to pull and grab, put on their plates. Serve it up with my recipe for healthy horseradish yogurt sauce, and you and your guests will be so happy. These are so good, and you're going to love that you made these. So I hope you guys give these a try and that you love them as much as we do.